Hello and welcome to the Fit Executive Show. Your host, Arnie Wildner, lost 50 pounds himself before helping hundreds of other entrepreneurs and executives sustainably lose weight and take charge of their health. In the Fit Executive Show, you'll learn field-tested weight loss strategies and how to effectively juggle your successful life and staying fit at the same time. Please welcome your host, Arnie Wildner. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Fit Executive Show. I am your host, or your co-host, Grace. This is your host, Arnie.
That's so right. I'm Arnie. Hello and welcome back to another episode. Well, today Grace wanted to shoot a solo episode and I was like, hold on.
I got myself all set up here by myself and Arnie was sitting there getting some other work that really needs to get done and he looked over and he said, I just can't leave you alone, even though I kind of wanted to be alone.
But when I asked her, like, what topic did you prepare for today? She said, it's about eating in Europe versus eating in North America.
And how I bring over what I learned about how Europeans eat to how I eat in North America and how you can do that too. Because if you're listening to this, you're an executive or a business owner or an entrepreneur living in North America, most likely, right? And I'm sure you've heard about the differences, right? About how Europeans eat and how obviously this is a massive stereotype, but we've heard about eating like a French woman or how French women don't get fat, right? And then how the food in Europe is so much more pure. When you go on vacation in Italy and you eat bread at every meal and you eat pasta at every meal and you somehow don't feel all the effects that you feel from eating gluten here in North America, what's the difference? So,
first of all, how did you come up with that topic?
Okay, so basically on TikTok and Instagram, I keep seeing these reels and pieces of content from wellness or fitness influencers talking about their trips to Europe and these are North Americans talking about, I was in Europe, I ate basically whatever I wanted for 2 weeks and I lost weight or I stayed the same weight. Whereas when I go on vacation to Nashville or when I go on vacation within North America, I gain weight when I eat out at restaurants. What's the difference? And obviously there's so much minutia and there's so many nuances to this situation. So I don't want to make any blanket statements. I'm just going to make a couple of points in the differences between the way that food is served at restaurants there and the way that the products are produced there, the general supermarket culture, eating food culture. And I have the authority to say that. I can bring that to the table since I am a North American. So I grew up until age 18 living in Canada, and then I spent age 18, 19 living in Atlanta.
Don't worry, this is just an alarm clock. Shoot pull-up videos. See, I'm not done with my day. Okay.
Right. So, sorry about that. I lived in Atlanta at age 18 and 19, and then from age 19 to, let's say, 26, 27, I lived in Germany. And I also worked a bit in France. So I definitely have the authority to speak on this. And I keep asking myself on this journey of building Fit Executive Co. here in North America, what do I have to bring to the table? What can our audience, who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives, learn from me? Someone who is most likely a bit younger than them, most likely with not that much entrepreneurial experience compared to a lot of our clients and our clientele. They've been in this game for a long time compared to me. I've only been an entrepreneur for 5 years now. And I'm a woman. A lot of our clientele is men. However, we do help female executives and entrepreneurs as well. You guys are all welcome. And also as someone who's a professional ballerina, who's never struggled with weight and who just kind of eats whatever they want, which it's not true that I do put thought behind what I eat.
I was a fat guy.
Yeah, so there's one of us. Yeah, so I asked myself, what can I bring to the table? And I thought this is a topic where we had posted a YouTube short and a reel and a TikTok, which had a lot of reach, talking about how I lost 15 pounds when I moved to Europe without even changing anything about my eating habits. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
I think we are already right in it.
Yeah.
So, where do you see the major differences?
Yes. Okay. Great question. So the major differences I see is in food processing. That's like the number one thing that I definitely noticed.
Yeah, me too.
when I went to Europe, and also especially since I started like dating. For those of you who don't know, Arnie and I are a married couple. We did start dating like 6 years ago in Germany, and I saw how he bought groceries. So it was my first experience living with a European person, and I noticed that this is what they call on TikTok or whatever an ingredient household. These are people who go. The majority of people in Germany that I saw, you look in their cart at the grocery store and you see what we consider ingredients. So you would see oats, you would see a bag of quinoa, you would see carrots. You wouldn't see this pre-prepared quinoa salad or this like granola. That is something that he only started buying when he met me. Like, you know, that maybe you don't even really buy that. You make your own granola. You buy ingredients.
Sometimes I make my own. Sometimes I buy ready to make. But I do look at the ingredients. So I think one anecdote that drives home the point is I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Hormozi. So Alex Hormozi is like a super successful entrepreneur guy, ripped. He takes a few enhancements.
He started out in the fitness industry.
Yeah, but he's always been super fit, and he is talking about some high protein recipes. I can highly recommend his channel and check out Alex Hormozi recipes.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that he once had a shrimp cocktail, shrimp salad, and he put in some 0 calorie mayonnaise or something like that. And he called it, he looked at the ingredients, it's like, oh, this is Frankenstein's piss.
Yeah. So that's...
This is so true for so many American products.
Especially those low-calorie fitness products.
Yeah, just so many ingredients, which is like at the end, weight loss is all about the calorie balance. And still, then in terms of inflammation, in terms of gut health, in terms of mental well-being, your mind and your gut constantly communicating with each other. It does make a major difference.
What kind of ingredients you put in your body.
And
would you even be able to get that in Germany? That 0 calorie mayonnaise or 0 calorie? Probably not. Not really.
I don't think it's forbidden, but Germans would be skeptical, and I think this is from my perspective.
This is really different.
This is the major difference, that in Europe, it's the infrastructure is made for everyday shopping, going shopping multiple times per week. Most cities don't have like a mega store like those drive-through
like a supermarket
malls. And they go shopping like once or twice a week and buy fresh ingredients that they prepare fresh, and they take the time to cook.
Most people don't have many people know. Okay, yeah, some people do, but in a major city center like Berlin,
we lived in the city of Berlin, like really in the city center. You don't need a car there. There are rental cars standing in front of your door every day, so you don't need to own a car.
Arnie, you wouldn't even be able to buy all that crazy stuff that we have here without a car.
That's a whole different thing, but it's about the culture too. So I get it when someone living in the middle of nowhere in the United States, like in Kentucky or Idaho, and he has to drive 30 minutes into the next supermarket. You don't do that like 3 or 4 times per week.
You do it once a week, and you buy things that last, and it has to last a week. So there's the preservatives that are involved.
I get it. And still we have to come up with smart solutions around it. Maybe like frozen fruit, frozen veggies. You can still live like a European in North America.
Yeah, we're getting to that. But
Grace, see, I'm just jumping in. I haven't prepared anything.
Okay, so back to the difference that I noticed there was a lot of people
please.
buying ingredients and preparing the foods themselves. That was one difference. Versus here, there are a lot more convenience foods, like a lot more. It is such a dramatic difference, even in the upscale. And I will, for this episode, I am comparing apples to apples. I am comparing the most upscale supermarket chain in Germany, Rewe, to something like Loblaws, which is an upscale supermarket chain. We're not comparing some budget discount store to Whole Foods. No, we're comparing the same similar grocery chains in Germany versus North America or Canada, for this example. And when I took him to Loblaws for the first time, he was blown away by how much food was prepared, like for families already ready to go. Like, and at Costco, we have the same thing. So there was like a tray with like marinated salmon, potatoes that were already seasoned, and a rice kind of salad in there. And then they're like, just put this tray in the oven for 30 minutes. Or like, Yeah, and then you're like, okay, that looks great. That looks healthy. Salmon, right? Well, you start reading the ingredients and you see like the marinade is made with corn syrup, and then in the salad, the rice, nothing is organic. Okay, fine, but you have all kinds of different weird things that you would not necessarily put into your own food were you buying those ingredients separately and creating that meal for yourself, right? So that was something I noticed. The convenience factor there is there. So there are so many opportunities on the plus side to eat healthy without having to put an effort and make something out of ingredients from scratch. So that's good. There are options there. So there's a double-edged sword. So you have convenience foods. A lot of them can be healthy, but the other side of the sword is you really must read the ingredients that are in there. Like we have a chain here in Canada as well called Farm Boy. So many delicious, great options. But when you actually start looking at the pre-made dressings or sauces that they may have there, or something like Trader Joe's where you have some convenience foods that are frozen where it looks healthy, it's like, oh, this is like a bean and chicken burrito. That should be like a good quick breakfast food, but you really got to watch what's in there. And I'm not educated enough on the ingredients in Trader Joe's, but you really got to read the ingredients. So that's one thing I noticed. Like there's way more pre-prepared stuff and pre-prepared snack foods here. It's insane. There's like a whole aisle of crackers. Whereas when I moved to Germany, I was shook because I love to eat crackers with cheese, and that's like not a thing there. And you're looking at the crackers and like the ingredients in there is like seeds and water. It's like a seed stick. Like, like this tastes
Grace
disgusting.
was always complaining about the quality of the crackers, and she made it like a sourdough version of
so I would
crackers,
make my own sourdough crackers.
Awesome. Yeah, so one rule that might be very useful for you listeners is the rule from Michael Pollock. Michael Pollock is a journalist and author on food, and check him out, please. So he calls it the great grandma rule. And
I like this.
It's just eat nothing that your great grandma wouldn't be able to identify as food. And I think this comes in very handy because what can you take away from this episode is not be too dogmatic about it. It's all about matching a lifestyle that is convenient for your everyday life, but still not hurting your body unknowingly by accident. And you want to make sure that you find solutions that are good for your gut health, good for your brain health, for your performance, for your energy level, because you need to perform in your business and in life. And you don't want to self-sabotage it unknowingly. So educate yourself about those foods that might hurting yourself. When we go about it with the metabolic metric system, we actually do the blood work and analyze it. And see
what are your intolerances?
What are your levels on specific health markers, and see how we can optimize it through food and through lifestyle, through exercise, sleep, nutrition. It all goes together hand in hand, and it's a complex system. But you want to educate yourself and make a data-based decision whether your body actually can tolerate it, whether it has a positive or a negative impact. And it can be so trivial, like basically all I'm saying is you don't necessarily want to have Frankenstein's piss on an everyday basis, and you don't need to
avoid the 0-calorie
eat
mayonnaise.
like a Italian nonna, just single food ingredients and spend the whole day cooking.
80-20 principle too. If there's something that is like you're running around or let's say you really love tuna salad or egg salad sandwiches like I do, and you don't have time to make your own mayonnaise, or you don't have access to this really great, like we get this farm box, so we get this homemade mayo, which is like 3 ingredients. It's like a homemade mayo, right? But if you don't have access to that, you're like, oh, I'll just buy the 0-calorie mayo and I'm going to eat that once a week. That's going to save you a lot of calories, to be honest. So it might actually be good if you're not dealing with any sort of inflammation issues or anything. But if you are like working with a professional who's saying, okay, let's check on these inflammation markers, and you're dealing with this and that, then you want to avoid these ultra processed foods.
Well,
either way, 80-20, you don't want to have that every single day.
At least you want to check out what your body can tolerate and cannot tolerate.
Ask yourself how you feel after eating it is the main thing.
And ideally, do the blood test and make a database decision so you can gain the insights into your body. And then you can really make a database decision and move along. All right. Hello!
So if you saw a quick cut in the video, someone knocked on the door. It was my family bringing us dinner. Lovely.
Bringing Greek food.
Oh, that was so nice.
Greek food. I had Greek salad with chicken, with those fried calamari. Fried food is a two-sided sword, I call it, because for most of us, it's really not good. If you have too much belly fat and this is highly inflammatory, you don't want to have inflammatory foods in your diet on a regular basis, if possible. But I don't have too much belly fat anymore, and so once in a while, whenever I can get my hands on those fried calamari with some lemon juice on top, I dipped it in tzatziki. Well, so
this is a high fun factor, but back to the point.
Back to the point.
We were talking
it's
about
European food, so Greek food fits right up
Is
that
Greece?
alley.
Yeah, it's in the EU,
Yeah, of
right?
course it
Yeah.
is.
Okay, anyway, so we were talking about making a data-based decision when it comes to deciding if you want to eat processed food or whatever you want to eat. That the blood test is a really good starting point for that. I want to be honest here, brutally honest. That overwhelms me. Looking at all of those ingredients and deciding, is this a good ingredient? Is this a bad ingredient for my body? I much prefer this like really simple grandmother approach where I read the ingredients and I'm like, if I don't recognize something on the ingredients list, I just stay away from it, or I Google it. And if it's just like, I'll give a concrete example. Okay, so I got really annoyed moving here, reading the labels for the most simple foods ever: cheese, butter, bread, and seeing the most crazy long list of ingredients. Whereas in Germany, I was used to the bread, you look at the label and there's like flour, water, yeast, like that's it. The bread here was insane. I was at Walmart, my gosh, I was at Walmart. That was the only grocery store that was available near my parents. They have a place out in the country, whatever. So I'm in a small town Walmart. I'm looking for bread and I ended up with a German rye bread because that was the only one that the ingredients were like spring water, yeast, like flour, and that was it. The other ones had so many preservatives or just like super long ingredients where like I just personally don't want to start looking that all up and finding out, is that inflammatory? Is that bad? Is this oil good? Is that oil bad? The question is, if you were making this, if your grandmother was making this food, like it's so simple when it comes to bread or cheese, would she add that? And if she wouldn't, run away, run far, far away. Okay, because if you're seeing a bread, like, sorry to call out these brands like Dempster's or something, that it has a shelf life of like a month, that should be a red flag for you, because if your grandmother baked bread, it would only last for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, some of those supermarket breads, they are made to last, because if they don't have to throw it away, the industry benefits, because obviously they can just offer it cheaper to you. And if it's cheaper to you, you might think like, oh, well, this is bread, this is half the price. Yeah, because it lasts twice as long, because they put all that shit in there.
Yeah.
And if you have the real version, most of the most natural ingredients, if you think of it, if something falls from the tree, it starts rotting after a few days. And this is how nature works. You have your peak of matureness where everything is optimally developed, the vitamin profile, it's basically as fresh as it gets, but then it deteriorates slowly but surely. But this is
true. This is
to
true.
The point. And the bread is a good example. If something lasts forever, that obviously
everyone makes more money.
Some products like rice is minimally processed and it still lasts forever. Salt and some spices, there are exceptions to the rule. But if you have something that's fresh, and if you made it yourself and it lasts for 2 or 3 days, and if you buy it from a supermarket and it lasts like 3 months or even longer, then you know that the industry has put something in there that might not be really good for your body. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, that's all very correct. That's great. But the concrete to do here is, if you want to eat like European, let's say in North America, read the ingredients and pick something where you recognize every single ingredient on that list. I ended up taking such a long Instagram video that I wanted to post on TikTok as well. And then I decided, forget about that. Let's turn this into a podcast episode, because I have so much to say about how to pick food at the grocery store and the approach I take to it. So as an entrepreneur, I don't want to flood my brain with unnecessary information about this food stuff, but I still want to eat really healthily, and I still want to feel my best, and I still want to be able to fuel my body and work out at my max potential.
And I disagree. I say
flood your brain with information.
No, pick one. So you only have one body. Your health is invaluable.
Yes. Okay.
You as an entrepreneur need to be at your optimum, at your peak, and it's time to educate yourself on what you put in your body, because it is your responsibility to only put the best stuff inside of your body, because it becomes a part of you.
Follow the grandmother rule.
Yeah, and then at the end, keep it simple. Have like a traffic light, like green is minimally processed. Eat this as much as you can.
Fruits, vegetables, unprocessed.
Like
90%
of your food intake should be, of your calorie intake should be minimally processed foods, natural ingredients, fish, meat, eggs, like dairy. Your body tolerates.
Ideally organic.
Do the blood test. Do the database decision as well, because everybody is different. And you might have individually intolerances and things that your body prefers and things that your body just
And then
doesn't
yellow
want.
is things that you would eat a little bit less often.
Yellow is a little bit less often, exactly. That doesn't have a direct... It's like neutral. An example is... For example, those ready-made salads, I have those every once in a while, like Taylor Farm, sweet kale salad. It tastes good.
Like
but
it has a pre-made dressing in there.
It has the dressing is a little bit funny, exactly. But I still eat it because it is mostly like for this meal itself. It's 90% unprocessed. It's
chopped
like
vegetables,
high fiber, high nutrient dense foods in there with a funny dressing, but it's convenient for me, so I eat it every once in a while.
And then red would be
And
like
then
calamari,
fried. Red would be like highly processed foods. I would say eat that as an exception.
Like these crazy protein bars.
I'm not sure about crazy protein bars as an example, but if you have like Pop-Tarts and stuff, packaged foods in general are something that you want to take a closer look at. What is in there? If you don't understand it, do the research and then make an educated decision whether you want to eat it or not. Because you only put stuff in your body that you really want in there.
Absolutely.
Don't leave it up to chance. Invest in the best ingredients possible. Take some time out of your busy day to actually prepare those foods. And there are many 5-minute recipes. We have so many 5-minute recipes for our clients that are healthy, that are delicious, that are beneficial for their goals. So just do the work once. Invest once into learning, into understanding this, and then go from there and benefit for the rest of your life for the next decades to come.
Or eat like a European and just buy things your grandmother would know how to make.
Yes.
And this is just the topic.
Grow your own veggies.
Grow your own veggies. I'm just being honest. Sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to absorb any more information, so I just think I use the grandmother rule, which
just
I love.
Ask me.
I'll ask you. That's great. But then you'll talk for an hour about one ingredient, which is fine, and then you learn it once. But it is also definitely worthwhile to talk to an expert about it. Hire a coach. Talk to us. And if you would love to get an expert's advice on your current diet, nutrition, and fitness, Arnie is happy to give a free demo call.
Yeah, and if you want to take one thing from this episode is know your body, know what it tolerates, and make a database decision and work it with your preferences. So you have the diet with your name on it is what I call it. And if you want to find out what that could look like, please reach out to us. We offer a free initial consultation where we go through all of these steps that you need to take, customize it, and then we can see whether we want to implement it together, or if you want to just do it yourself, be our guest. We're cheering for you either way. All we want is you to be the best version of yourself, to be the fittest entrepreneur, family leader, business leader that you can be for the next decades to come. All right.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's it for today's show. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. If you want to lose weight but don't want to do it all by yourself, go to arniewildner.com/call and book an appointment for a free 15-minute phone call with us where we'll look at your situation, your obstacles, and your goals to find out if and how we can help you.